Hey guys, Kaif here, bringing to you my latest and greatest build guide. This one is a max block Gladiator tank that in many cases becomes just about downright unkillable, and we also at the same time pump out way over 15 million shaper DPS. Now throughout this guide I'll be showing you just how tanky this build is, just how much crazy DPS we can pull off, how we go about scaling our DPS, and the many different layers to our defense. So this build works because we use the surrender shield and we use a crafted jewel foil, and for endgame I recommend anything above 400 physical DPS. So currently the foil that I'm using is 430 DPS, and together along with skill tree choices and specific gearing options, I'm able to comfortably pull out the over 15 million shaper DPS, and that is from Blade Flurry alone. The build also, because we use the surrender shield, it grants us a level 30 reckoning, which I support through brutality, melee fizz, and pulverize. Now, as you can see, this does a pretty decent amount of damage, and that coupled with Blade Flurry really just lets us melt all content. So we can many times just go absolutely AFK during the map because we have a max block chance of 79%. For the rest of the video I'll just be saying 80% is real easier to say that. And basically how the shield works is that every time you block, you regain 250 life, and you also cast the reckoning skill. So you can just open up boxes and just stand around and kill everything and not take much damage at all. So the only thing that really kills us is anything like damage over time related. So if we get a damage over time debuff like something like bleed, or if we're hit with something like scorching ray or anything like that, then we can definitely die. There's still multiple ways that the character can die. However, it is very tanky, and you guys might be looking and saying it only has 4.5k life. How can that be tanky? No, because we have so many different layers of defense, and I'll get to that in a second. We don't take much damage, and because of the shield we regain life without even needing to cast our flask or anything like that. So in addition to having basically 80% max block chance for any damage that does get through, we have about just over 20k armour and all buffs and flasks are up. That gives us way over 60% physical damage mitigation. We also constantly have 3 endurance charges up by using like leap slam with endurance charge on melee stun. And in addition to that, we have a fair amount of life regen and a decent amount of leech from the tree. And because we do so much damage, that leech really helps us out a lot. Now, in terms of gem links, our main source of damage comes from Blade Flurry. You can also use Cyclone, but Blade Flurry gives significantly more DPS. So our main gem links are Blade Flurry linked to Impale, because it's definitely an Impale build, linked to Brutality, Melee Fizz, Pulverize, and Infuse Channeling. And in terms of auras, we have Blood and Sand and Pride linked to a level 3 and Enhance. We also rock Dread Banner needed for an Impale build, and we have Flesh and Stone linked to Meme. And finally we have a very low level Precision. All that stuff gives us good DPS and everything we need for the build. Everything else is purely subjective. I have my Leap Slam set up with Fortify and endurance charge on melee stun just for an additional bit of tankiness, and I just throw in a Val Ancestral War Chief. Now let's get into the gearing options. So we have a crafted jewel foil that has hits can't be evaded, crit chance quality, attack speed, and percentage physical damage. We also use an Abyssus. If you want to go more tanky, you can use a Star Contrast, but an Abyssus gives us way more DPS. And naturally, we have to use the Surrender Shield. This is a huge part of what makes the build work. We have the Reckoning skill supported by Brutality, Melee Fizz, and Pulverize. In terms of cost, next to the Jewel Foil, which will cost you about 8 Exiles just for the crafts, the Surrender Shield is going to be your most expensive item if you do not craft a main chest piece. We want Spike Gloves just for the implicit. You can also get your resistances here, and naturally we want life on everything, so craft a bit of life if you can afford to. Next, these boots specifically aren't needed. These are Onslaught boots and they're legacy now, but any crafted boots can work, or if you have a Khan's Roots, that goes a long way and will give you a ton of life as well, and it's great for Uber Elder fights. And next up we have a Rustic Sash. You want a Rustic Sash for the implicit. You just want to get all your resistances here in life, or a Stygian Vice is also great as well. Either one of those, you can't go wrong. I have a lot of life on this, as well as percentage life, nice resist, and I've crafted a bit of damage on it as well. Moving on to the rings, we want at least one ring or amulet with minus mana cost on it. Here I have it on a main ring. Get your resists on this. Life is a must, and if you can pick up any form of damage like on this other ring, then you can pick up some damage on this. This other ring is a Assassin's Mark on hit. Definitely need it to pump out some extra DPS, craft damage on it, get some resist, and also craft life. Life is always a must. So these are not that expensive, probably a couple of exiles, or you can get lucky and find one. Next we have our amulet. You want resist, as much resist as possible on your amulet, and life. If you do not have minus mana cost on your rings, or any one of your rings, then you can definitely get it here on your amulet. Moving on, we have the big boy, crafted MAME minus mana cost Astral Plate. The reason we got Astral Plate is because it gives us some implicit res, and we always need resistances. We have a ton of life on this. Minus mana cost is definitely a must. An alternative would be something like a Carcass Jack, but then you'd have to manage your mana issues by running less auras. Flasks are pretty straightforward. You want Quicksilver Flask. Every build needs a Quicksilver Flask. Mine gives a bit of extra speed. Because we're a crit build as well, we definitely need a Diamond Flask. So our Diamond Flask gives us lucky crit chance, nothing special. You can craft bleed or anti-bleed or anti-freeze or whatever on your flasks. These are personal preference. These flasks, the only thing that you definitely need the Diamond Flask. Some persons don't even use movement speed, so they don't really care about movement speed. You definitely need the Lion's Roar, and you need at least one life flask just for sticky situations. You can even use one of those unique Kari instant life flasks, but personally on my life flask, that's where I craft my bleed removal. So I have bleed removal on 2 flasks actually, but 2 or 3 of your flask will be up to personal preference. If you want a bit more armor or whatever, you can go for whatever. So all that being said, just how does the build work? Well, you leap slam into packs. You stun some stuff once you leap slam, so it procs your endurance charges and your fortify. You leap slam and you just melt shit with Blade Flurry. If you are a cyclone type of guy, you can instantly swap cyclone and it will be the same setup. There will be no difference. So moving on to the skill tree, just to see exactly how everything is configured behind the scenes. You basically want to get almost every single shield block chance node there is. So you work your way towards the shield wheel down at the bottom of the tree. You do not need to get the last two because that extra 4% block chance that you get from those two, which is the only thing you get from those two, because of one of our Ascendancy choices, we make up for that every time we block. We go up from base 75 to 79 anyway, so these two are not necessarily needed, but if you want to have no downtime at all on your 79% max block chance, then you can go ahead and get those. Get a bit of armor up there. Come in here, you get the crit wheel. Come down here, you get this sword crit wheel, standard stuff. You want to get the Impale wheels as well because we scale our damage through Impale. This is very much an Impale build. To be honest, the skill does not matter. Blade Flurry does give us the most DPS. It gives us significantly more DPS than Cyclone, but Cyclone is a lot smoother to play, and with Cyclone you will have your infusion up a lot more because it doesn't, you're just pressing and holding the button, so there's no downtime on your infusion, and infusion gives you a bit more damage and it also gives you a bit more tankiness. So we basically go through the tree, pick up life where possible. If you want more life, you can always get more life to get over 5k HP and sacrifice some of your DPS for tankiness. But this is pretty much it. You want to get, the main things to get are your block chance and the core DPS wheels, so the sword wheels and the crit sword wheels really help us out a lot because having a lot of DPS, killing them before they can attack you, it has a really nice playstyle. I've built characters before that are tanky but have really low DPS and it doesn't feel fun to play. This build feels amazing to play. It's quite literally the best build I've ever. Now we'll go ahead and take a look at the Ascendancy choices. We'll start out with Pain Forged, and this allows our counterattacks to deal double damage, which is nice for a clean. We'll work our way down from that to pick up Versatile Combatant. You don't really need to pick these up in any specific order, but if I were to recommend it, it would be Pain Forged and then Versatile Combatant, and then we'd work our way up to Violent Retaliation, so that would be number 6. And for our Uber Ezaro, we would pick up the last bit. We would work our way down to Arena Challenger, so that gives us Challenger charges, that gives us a decent amount of additional damage. That is basically it though, guys. These are the Ascendancy choices. That was the skill tree. That's pretty much how the build works. Thanks.